Off the Record is a show from 88.1 WKNC in which DJs talk with artists about everything from their music to upcoming tours to former bandmates' birthdays. Make sure to follow WKNC on SoundCloud and Tumblr so you never miss a beat. Enjoy! .1 WKNC. You are currently tuned in to Local Lunch, and today we have a few bands joining us before their show on Friday. We got Texoma and then Dragmatic here. So if y'all want to introduce yourselves, what band you're in, what you do, that would be fabulous.
I have just been invited, and I'm so happy to be here. Thanks to Texoma. I'm Ryan from Dragmatic. I am the singer, primary songwriter, and electric guitar player.
Zach Terry from Texoma. I play guitar and sing, and looking forward to playing and singing on Saturday. At the station.
And today.
It's on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah. Good. I was going to show up on Friday. Glad I asked. My name is Robbie Lohr. I'm the bass player in Texoma.
And my name is Mark. I'm the keyboard player in Texoma, though I think I'm going to transition to guitar.
Yeah, so they got their acoustic guitars out, so you're probably going to hear some of that within this hour, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, and you all have a show coming up. When is that?
It is. It's on Saturday night. We're really excited. As a band, Texoma, we haven't played out in a while. Our last show was our holiday show that we do annually. But we're playing on Saturday night with Ryan from Dragmatic and his crew's coming over. And we're going to be joined by the Outboards from Pittsburgh. They couldn't be here today, but they're an amazing band. And we're really looking forward to playing with both of these bands, kind of in our home turf of Chapel Hill.
We're playing at the station.
Yes, the
Important
station.
Facts.
Yes. And it's a cool story, I think. I'll just jump into it. Ryan, you and I got to know each other a few years ago through the Grapevine, through the local band series. And Raleigh has always been like a super welcome host to Texoma. And we've gotten to know these fine gentlemen over the course of a few years. And so,
is Dragmatic out of Raleigh?
Yes, we're Raleigh-based.
Yeah, and so Dragmatic's going to come over and play a show with us, and then some of my personal new band friends, the Outboards, are going to come up from Pittsburgh to play. Mark, you know some of the guys from the Outboards a little better than I do.
I think they're an incredible band, and so we're really looking forward to playing with the whole bunch of bands that night on Saturday.
And it's going to be a lively show. So there's a lot of beautiful music coming out in the scene these days. We're playing beautiful, loud music. So we would love for people to come hear some loud music.
Absolutely. I mean, that's sort of my thing. If I'm not good, at least you'll hear it.
And what is we're not going to be able to hear any Outboards today, so maybe if you could catch the listeners up on what they're kind of like, since they weren't able to make it.
Let's see if I can do that. Our friend Eric Haugen is the guitar player in the band. He's an outstanding guitar player and particularly good at pop music. And Clay plays drums. He's an outstanding drummer as well. And he and I have known each other for most of 20 years, it seems like, back when we were both in school at UNC. I was a music student there, and I also taught percussion to non-majors, and he was one of my students. I don't know if he wants me to say that now, but anyway, it was.
Did you ever think you'd be playing together like this?
No, I didn't. Although I always thought he was a great drummer, and this is really fun that he and I have now, after all this time, connected on a musical level again.
Was it like kind of random that like you happened to have the show together and you knew each other?
There's something that preceded this show, which is that, and this occurred at King's in Raleigh, but there was a recent event to raise money for a cause that I cannot remember, but several bands, including The Whom, if any of you guys have heard. The Whom is a Who cover band that might actually be better than The Who. So, and they're out of Raleigh. And we then a group of people, including Clay, the drummer that we're speaking of, got together and learned the album Bringing It All Back Home by Bob Dylan. And we did the album in its entirety, and that was how I reconnected with Clay, is doing that album together. And that was a great experience, just because learning that Bob Dylan stuff, you really realize that he is no slouch. I mean, sometimes you listen to what he's doing and you think, oh, what's he doing? You know, that's awful. Or some people say that. I don't really say that. But, you know, it can come across that way. But in fact, his stuff is very well thought out. His harmonica playing is amazing. His singing is incredible, you know. So I feel like that kind of
You got
statement,
a whole new appreciation for him after doing that event.
It certainly had a new level of appreciation. I've always appreciated him, but yeah.
That sounds interesting. Was it like everybody was doing covers?
Yes, and then there was one other band that did... why can't I remember this? Oh, yeah. Oh, man, they were great. A Neil Young cover band. They were either called Young Neil. No, I don't know what they were called.
They just switched
Young
the
Neil and
words
the
in.
Damaged
It
Done.
was a different band, actually.
It wasn't them?
It might have been the Cinnamon Girls or something like
that's
that.
Jeff
yeah.
Hart's band. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't Jeff Hart's band. Right. I just got momentarily confused by. Yeah.
It's easy.
I got a question. Is there a difference between a cover band and a tribute band?
Oh.
I would say there
that's a
is
good one.
definitely a
I
difference.
think a cover band just does covers of whatever they want to. And
Right.
a tribute band has like that one terrible thing they want to do the entire time.
Right.
And
so
they
these
even-
would be tribute bands, not.
Well, except for that,
Yeah.
I feel like a tribute band probably like dresses up like their people,
Yeah.
you know, and tries to look like them. I don't know that anyone wanted to really look like Bob Dylan necessarily.
Hey, Ryan, if you were going to be in a cover band or a tribute band, what band would you want to tribute
Oh, God.
to?
Probably the Jayhawks. If I
Okay.
had to do that.
Cool.
I could do that. Or there's a lot of like Canadian pop bands like Sloan and, Teenage Fan Club. Just power pop stuff for sure. Matthew Sweet. The answer is Matthew Sweet.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach?
What about me? Well, this is purely from a financial standpoint. I would want to do a Garth Brooks cover band, but I would also probably totally get sued if I tried to do that.
I think you just want to wear those shirts with like the big stripes on them, like the big vertical.
I just want to sing with a low, Papa loved Mama nearly all his life.
You just want a white piano.
Yes.
And a big hat.
Yeah. Sorry.
This always happens. It's all good. So we were just playing one of your unreleased songs. I think that's pretty important
Yes.
to touch on. That was Intentions Rough, and I believe that was the first time you guys have played it
It is.
anywhere. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've never played that song live. That is a it's not a final mix by any means, so we're going back into
Thus the rough part.
Yeah.
So intentions rough.
Oh, are these
Yeah.
all? Oh, they all have rough.
They're all rough. Yeah.
I thought that was the name of the song.
No, first pass mix.
It's an
that one's
interesting
just
concept.
Intentions.
Intentions
World
rough.
premiere, sneak peek.
And so we went into the studio a month and a half ago to Mark's and Tom Canova's studio, which is Studio M, and we've got about 9 or 10 songs that we'll probably release in May, and a few of those that we're working on are they sound amazing already, and we don't have a lot to finish on them. So the one that we just played was Intentions, and it's probably one of our favorite songs, and all of these songs have really kind of evolved over the few years that we've been playing as a band, and it's because we're all writing these songs together now. Whereas when we were new, it's kind of like, oh, well, I have this song and you have that song, so let's play those songs.
Oh, did you guys just kind of merge things you individually wrote? Like,
Yeah.
do you all write songs?
Yeah, now we kind of all write songs, whether it's, and some people can, like I contribute a little bit more on the vocals and words side of things, but I'll bring like an idea of a song to the table, or our drummer has written a couple of songs that we're playing. So.
The two guys who write the words have what I would consider a fairly interesting but not unusual way of writing the words. Maybe Randy, our drummer, does this more than Zach. I'm not really sure, but sort of like a free associative way of writing where you just like say phonemes and parts of words and stuff like that, and eventually like the words sort of tend to mold into something that doesn't necessarily have meaning, but everything evokes some kind of meaning. I would say in our case, most of our songs have some meaning, right?
Yeah, we let the songs write themselves a lot of times. One really cool example of what Mark's saying is on the upcoming album. You can actually hear this on our website, which is just texomaband.com. It's called "Don't Mean Much," and Randy, our drummer, wrote this song, and he recorded it onto his iPhone, notes, whatever the thing is that you can record on your iPhone. And when he played the chords on the acoustic guitar, again, he's the drummer, but he's also a guitar player. He was just kind of like mumbling words and like just kind of saying things as they came to him, but there wasn't like a real kind of like defined, thing that he was trying to say. And he texted that over to me, and I sat down at my table and listened to his audio recording from his iPhone and wrote the words of what I thought he was trying to say.
It's like that
It's really
game.
cool.
It's like a game of telephone.
Telephone, yeah.
And so maybe we can play that one later. That's called "Don't Mean Much," and you can actually hear
Is
that.
the song title kind of based on that process?
So I think the "Don't Mean Much" part was exactly right. It's a good question. I think we may have had those words as kind of a predefined chorus of sorts, and the verses needed to be written. I'm honestly not. I don't totally remember.
But certainly to some extent, it's got to have been related in that it was not, a meaning wasn't fully fleshed out until the words had all sort of gelled,
Right, and it's probably one of our favorite songs to play.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play it.
Yeah. Did you want
wanna hear
to play it live? Or
I
we can
think
put out
the
CD?
the upcoming album, unreleased version, does it better justice in this particular case. But
All
we
right.
would love to play some songs in a few.
All right. Well, you are listening to Texoma on the local beat. Stay tuned.
Waking up on the sidewalk, I'm always here. I can't compare to the crowds you're always hanging around. Open eyes in the morning from dreams so fine. You're always on my mind, and you are everything I've ever known. It don't mean much. Waking up on the sidewalk, I just don't mean much. I want too much, and I'm always telling you you're not enough. I'm just digging through the promises that never ends. I can't depend on those things you said while crying in my arms. Oh, why, it don't mean much. Pushing words through a cigarette, will you slow me down? I read to the sound of the hours of silence passing by. So let's understand to throw away this need to wait. Let's go and lay and dream of things that we may parallel. Oh, why, don't mean much.
88.1 WKNC. This is DJ Whatsherface, and you are currently tuned in to the local beat. And you are just listening to Don't Mean Much by Texoma. And if you are just tuning in, I am accompanied by Texoma as well as a member of Dragmatic. So,
Mr. Showtime Ryan Kinnemer. We're here to do it.
They call me Showtime because I think it's because I sweat a lot. I jump around a lot, and
on stage.
yeah, the music doesn't lend itself to that, but I feel it in here. I'm pointing to my heart. That's where I feel it, and so that
Yeah, when you feel it there.
When you feel it
what
there.
are you going to do?
yeah, you just gotta sweat it out, man.
Yeah.
But
to
anyway.
that point, they put on a great show.
Well,
you guys
thank you.
really do.
Well, I want to do stuff that's pretty high energy. That's sort of, when we play a slower song, it's usually the fastest song we could possibly put right behind it, just so I can get back in that groove of.
Need that balance.
I do, but it's I need that off balance is what I need.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in, they all have a show this Saturday at the station over in Carborough, along with the Outboards, and it's going to be a good one. Have you all ever played the station before? This is a first time thing.
A couple times.
We've at the as Texoma, yes, we've played there once as Texoma, and then I know between Mark and I, we've been playing there since it started way back in the day.
Although it actually started way, way back. REM played there,
Yeah.
and other bands like that. So maybe not
What?
quite that
Maybe
far.
that. Yeah, you're right.
How old is the station? I didn't realize that.
It's a good
I don't know.
question. I mean, I
worth a
would
Google.
say that at least it was around in the late 70s, early 80s, probably. So
Yeah, Dragmatic actually opened for REM back in 1983. There.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a pretty wild
was wild,
time.
huh?
You're all youngins.
You were 2.
I was a little older, but yeah.
He's born to rock, though.
Well, I
Hey,
mean,
speaking of REM, what's the story of that reel to reel in your studio?
Well, that's I almost don't want to tell that
Okay, yeah,
story.
never mind.
No, I will. I do have REM's 4-track reel-to-reel in my studio right now. It's actually there for repair, and I'm almost done with it. But it was used to record their first album. And
How did you get a hold of that?
There's a person in the area who I won't name just in case they want to keep their anonymity intact.
it's Michael Stipe, isn't it? just tell us.
who was associated with REM back in the day and has a lot of the equipment that they played on, and I've been repairing some of that equipment or seeing that it gets repaired one way or another.
Is that what you do, I guess, when you're not in a band, is record people, repair?
I do record people. Yeah, I don't necessarily do tons of repairs. There's a couple of things that I'm good at doing repairs-wise, and then the rest I sort of farm out to the many other great people who can do that stuff, electronic repairs in particular. But what I am sort of an equipment freak, so there's that. I like old equipment. I like old electronics and stuff like that. So in this particular case, I'm connecting the thing that needs to be repaired with the right person to repair it. So
I'll jump in and say, there's a few things I think that anyone who plays in any band will agree that are the highlights of playing in a band. One of them is playing fun, loud shows where people are there dancing and clapping. Another one is like coming here, honestly, and speaking to folks. So thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Of course.
probably one of the other top experiences is going into a studio to record for a day or a weekend or a whole week or, a month, years, whatever. Like being in the studio is awesome. And so being in Mark's studio, we are surrounded by all kinds of just really cool equipment. And there's definitely times where the song that we just played don't mean much. There's an electric 12-string. We had never played that live before, but we put it into the album, and it's gonna make it. It's gonna make the final cut, and it added this really cool dimension to that song. And
similarly, since we occasionally practice in the studio as well, it's sort of a comfortable place for us to open up and just like play music. And so when we were recording, there was some sort of off-the-cuff stuff that happened in the ends of songs, and in one particular case, the end gets really extended and is a little ridiculous, but it might not
it's
make
like
the
noise
cut.
metal.
We'll
It turns into noise metal.
Was that the one we just faded out?
No, that's a different
it gets
one.
even.
And that speaks to our evolution as a band, as Texoma. When we started as a long time ago as a 3-piece, and this is our final iteration where we are now.
Your final form.
Like really like folk rocky,
Yeah.
just kind of like
Sort of
raw,
like
alt country, whatever that is. yeah. And
Whatever that is.
now, and I think I've had like 1 or 2 pedals, and now like my board is 1 in, 1 out. So I'm not allowed to add any more to it. So we have. So that particular song Mark's talking about, was a recent edition of a fuzz factory, which would never play in our original setup.
Has discovered
And now
and
it's just
embraced
kind of like
fuzz.
it's wild. It's
Was the
totally
last album also recorded with Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Now
there's a slight difference though.
Yeah.
We did the last one on I think our band's personal equipment, and this one we've hired the full studio and Tom Canova to come in with his equipment, and it's just completely amazing.
Yeah,
the audio quality that we're getting.
in studio, Mark can tell me I get this wrong, but Mark's got the studio space and all these crazy instruments in it, and other equipment for recording. But Mark Kavanaugh is the engineer, and he's got Tom.
Yeah.
Sorry, gosh, has just the crazy, cool, vintage / best of the vintage / best of the new. Like, is that a Neve strip? Like, crazy recording stuff. And it turns out that it sounds really good when you use all that stuff.
That's cool.
And that was so the big difference was last album we recorded it and engineered it and mixed it ourselves. And this time we hired Tom to do that, and that took a load of work off of us and made it real. We didn't have to worry like, how are we going to get this tone right, or how's this going to sit in the mix? We just like,
Yeah.
Tom, we want
Instead
this
of
to
everybody
sound really
doing-
good. He's like,
Yeah.
got it. It
Know
does.
what to do.
And yeah, instead of everybody doing everything, we all get to focus on the 1 or 2 things that we're supposed to be primarily doing, all while jumping in.
And that we're relatively good at.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Also, I would add to that the album we did before, which we recorded at my place as well, we decided in advance that we were going to do sort of a rough and ready aesthetic where we just like plugged some mics into the thing, and then we pressed record and we started rocking, and that's pretty much what you hear on that album. On this album, even though what you played is pretty much like that, we still haven't done overdubs and that kind of thing, so we're probably this is going to be a little bit more polished than the other one. And when I say polished, that doesn't really mean that much in this case, because it's still a rock and roll band.
Yeah, and there's
ultimately.
like small things that we're just going to leave in there as well, because it's how it was recorded originally. But we're definitely doing more overdubs on this one, and kind of like what's appropriate for this spot. If if we could do anything we wanted, kind of thing.
Just blazing blues riffs over everything, right?
Did your songs change a lot while in the studio, or?
Not too much. I wouldn't say that the songs changed too much as far as like the core parts of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, part of it was too, we recorded all 9 or 10 songs in 3 days,
Yeah.
all
a
the
lot.
parts. So it was a tight schedule to keep. So there wasn't a lot of time for evolution, but there were a lot of happy surprises, like 12-string, or which keyboard we're using, or trying different percussion instruments. So we had time to do some exploration. That was really fun.
And the fact that the band plays live with some regularity also meant that we were ready to just jump in there and play. And so, the material was mostly worked out and in its own organic way. So, not much change there, other than developing ideas to their logical conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, we also have some Dragmatic. If we want to, we've talked a lot about
If you like.
Texoma. So how about we play one of your tracks so the listeners can get a little taste of what you sound like?
Sure.
We got this album right here in hand.
All right. Well, how about I don't know if I'm going to play acoustic. Here, you may as well do Home Tonight. That's a nice one. That's one of our slower ones, so probably the slowest one. Enjoy.
Awesome. And this is the local beat. We have Texoma and Dragmatic in studio, so stay tuned. 88.1 WKNC. This is DJ Whatsherface, and you are currently tuned in to the local beat. And you just heard some Dragmatic. That was Home Tonight. And we are actually, or I'm used to saying we because usually I'm here with my co-host Sparrow. But
Well, we're here too.
she's not here. So, yeah, well, I am accompanied by Dragmatic and Texoma. If you're just tuning in, they have a show coming up at the station this Saturday with the Outboards. That's over in Carborough. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to see you there.
Should be a good one.
We'll all be there.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you want?
So
Ryan, I'm curious about Dragmatic.
Okay.
Sorry.
right where I was getting.
Who's going to talk to me now?
So we were talking a lot about, I guess, what Texoma has going on with, new music and all of that. What do you all have?
Well, we've got a new drummer. We've got Chris Hibbard on board. He's in a lot of other local bands that I won't talk about because they're not us. And and then we have a new bass player as well. So we're sort of getting everything kind of solid on that end, and it's coming along really nice.
Did you all have a bass and drummer?
Yes,
Before?
yes. We weren't like...
So you're just switching out?
Yeah,
People.
we're, out with the old, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope they're not listening. No, bands just change, and Lewis Driver and I have been sort of in it since day one. It used to be that I was Dragmatic and it was a bunch of hired guns sort of thing. So basically 3/4 of American Aquarium would be my band whenever they were in town. And if you want to have a band, you don't want to be reliant on people that are on the road 250 days a year. So, so I had to break that up and figure out what I was going to do next. And that was like 2010.
Oh,
or
wow.
something
So
like
you
that.
all have been playing shows for a while now.
Yeah, we're elder statesmen of the indie rock local music.
Well, we're just young
Hey.
pups.
I mean, look at you. You're adorable.
Is there anything you want to say about some of your ex-band members?
Yes. They have really good penmanship and varying degrees of hair. And I love them all, and I appreciate everything they did for me.
So do
and
you
for
think,
us.
is your sound going to change at all, do you think, with the addition of new members?
Yeah, absolutely. Our new drummer, I mean, he doesn't miss a beat, literally. I mean, I know that's cliche, but he's just super solid. And our bass player he can just go off on these notey sort of things, and which I don't always love, but he can do them. And sometimes he does, and it totally works. And so, I mean, I think from a musical standpoint, we've got a pretty awesome... I'm always the weakest link in every band I'm in, and I'll be the first to say that.
Don't be down on yourself.
Well, no. I mean, I'm awesome, but that's how awesome they are. No. I surround myself with the pick of the litter, so I think that's the best way to go about it. But no, for us, we're working on some new stuff, and, for the longest time, I thought we were an alternative country band. That's what I thought. And then we made our record that you just played a track off of. And as much as that song was sort of alt country, a lot of it is power pop. A lot of it is just straight up sort of indie rock. I don't, it's hard to put us with other bands because people say, "What do you do now?" And I'm like, "Well, whatever we feel like right now."
Yeah. I
You
mean, I
know?
feel like it's hard to define any band by a genre. It's
Yeah.
like you just gotta listen.
Yeah, and I, as much as I want to do that, I'd be like, "Oh, we're power pop," but there's pedal steel and a lot of twang on this one, and this one sounds like Archers of Loaf, and this one sounds like Lucero, and this one sounds just.
Is
And
that
that's-
like, are you mostly influenced by power pop? Is that why you kind of
Yeah.
lean towards that?
Yeah, I think so. Like a lot of Canadian bands, we love Thin Lizzy. I used to play bluegrass. I used to play with Scott Avett. I went to college together, and we had a little bluegrass thing we did every Tuesday back in college, and so it all comes from all sorts of places. Like I love 80s power pop. I love Matthew Sweet sort of stuff. I love Whiskey Town. I love Uncle Tupelo, Wilco, Jayhawks. I mean, all this stuff is sort of formed what I want to sound like. And since they're so different, it's sort of a weird thing to try and put all that together. But I think we do a pretty good job of it. And going forward, I think you'll just get more variations of that. And our guitar player, Lewis, he is, he's a lot more, he has a lot more hardcore background than I do. He like loves, really riffy stuff. And, I like that stuff too. And that's not something that's easier for me to come up with, and he sort of brings that texture along. So it's a interesting dynamic, and I'm pretty proud of it.
And as an outsider, I would say it's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you guys rock.
Thanks.
Is this like the first time you're playing with the new members, or have they been
No.
around for a while, just like not on the last record?
We played 2 shows with the new bass player, I think, maybe 3, and then we've played 1 with the new drummer. So it's a little loosey-goosey, but it's rock and roll, man.
Yeah. Just gotta roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the shows go late and they go loud.
That's right. Like I said, you might not like us, but you're not going to not hear us.
Well, so what about Texoma? What are y'all's influences while we're sitting on that topic?
It's really funny. I'm sitting here listening to Ryan, and I'm like, maybe this is why our bands have such a big crush on each other, because it's a lot of the same kind of stuff. And we kind of started, we coined ourselves, because we didn't want to be alt country, so we're like, well, we're a dust rock band.
I love that, yeah.
We coined that term just for the
Man,
record.
have I interviewed you before?
Yeah.
I was like,
We're the band
Dust
that you were
Rock
like,
just
what is
brought it
dust
all
rock?
back.
And then when our first album came out, and Spencer over at the Indie Week reviewed it, he was like, yeah, but like these other songs that they're playing are vintage power pop. And when we read that, we were like, yeah. So now we're a dust rock, or dust rocks and vintage power pops. If you go to our website, which is texomaband.com.
I really like how Spencer writes stuff. I think he was the one who said about Dragmatic that we're like a peanut butter and banana and honey sandwich. Like it shouldn't work, but it
works really well.
it kind of does. So yeah. But anyway, back to Texoma. Great
Yeah,
guy.
and I think that you're talking about how lineup changes will affect your sound. I feel like that has really informed the evolution of Texoma, right?
Totally.
Because it started the core of Zach and Randy, and then added Linus as a rhythm guitarist, and then I came in as the second bass player in the band, and then added Mark, right? And Zach and Randy were steeped in country music in a way that.
But Randy's like our drummer, which, by the way, I'm actually the only person in the band who can't play drums well. All other 4 members of Texoma are actually really good drummers, which is crazy. So I'm the only one that's usually off time. But
Do
yeah,
y'all
so
like
Randy
ever
is like
switch instruments?
that we don't
At
right
practice
now,
we do.
but we're so close to doing it. Actually,
I feel like that's always entertaining to see live because everybody always like plays everything slightly different,
Yeah.
and it's also just like cool to see.
So there's a song like we're talking about, like there's a song we're recording that Randy wrote. Well, we're all kind of writing it. And it's going to fade from this like crazy anthem into this like acoustic thing, and then back into this like anthem, and then like kind of noise metal, which sounds crazy. But I think during that part, I can imagine us having like a revolving but a revolving kind of like everyone moves left and picks up a different instrument, or like
within the same song.
it's all in the same song. It's crazy. It's gonna round out our album, and we have to finish it because it's not totally done. But we're
Is that
really
something we
excited
might
about
see
it.
on Saturday?
We're not planning to play it on Saturday because we need to. This is like the one that we like really need to work out.
Yeah, and that's the one that changed the most while we were in the studio.
So it's
Yeah,
like still
it's
kind
really
of
good.
fresh for
I'll just,
y'all.
like, it's
Yeah.
So it's like real anthem-y almost.
Yes.
And it's talking about like, well, I don't know. We're not going to dive into the meaning of songs because we don't really know what they're about.
Yeah, I'll
it's
start off
exciting.
with the sounds.
So anyway, back to the question. Randy is like has this indie rock background. I grew up like bluegrass and folk rock, but then also just like really bad pop rock and roll, like Aerosmith, because of
I don't think that's bad.
my parental influences kind of stuff.
Oh, Aerosmith bad?
I mean,
Yeah, dude.
no, but you know what I mean. They're amazing, but
Yeah,
they're
I
like,
mean, I mean, I don't love them, but I wouldn't call them bad.
I wouldn't go that far either.
Yeah.
So
Like,
a lot of
people arguing
commercial
with
stuff, but also like, grew up going to like the Doc Watson Festival and like running around as a little kid, like in diapers, like with bare feet kind of thing,
Where's that?
He's still
So,
doing
well, it's called Merle Fest now, so sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like
Yep.
ingrained. It's the Doc Watson Festival. Yeah, now it's Merle Fest.
Yeah.
Um,
Linus came with a bunch of indie rock. I listened to a bunch of grunge.
Yeah.
And then funk.
Yeah.
And so like trying to figure out what a country sounding bass line is, that's just not. I
Yeah.
had to think real hard about that.
Yeah. And then, our sound is definitely progressing as we go. Like this album that's going to be coming out in the spring is the best representation of who we are as a band. The songs are our most evolved songs, and they're honestly the songs I'm most proud of. And my favorite songs are some songs that I didn't write, but I get to participate in it. So it's pretty cool to be a part of that. And then we're kind of like having some conversations about, which I just laughed because we have a song called Conversations. Anytime I say the word conversations, this song plays in my head for some reason. But we're starting to talk about kind of like a process of what we could see, like a project for us working on that's totally different than what we're doing now. So
Like a whole new band as the same people?
I don't know. It's TBD.
Industrial
We just
sound.
started talking about it last night.
Every time we're jamming before Zach gets there, we're all switching instruments, and we all, like, okay, now is our, power country band. Now we've got a metal project, and everyone is just called Don't Tell Zach.
Yeah.
So Zach doesn't know.
So Zach can't
Sort of.
be in the band.
Oh, he's going to have to be because we need someone to sing and play lead guitar. But
I'll do marketing for the band. So it's fun. I think that's one of the best things about playing in a band, aside from what we talked about earlier. From like being able to come on the radio, which is awesome. Being able to play shows in front of people is amazing. It's like there's not a lot of things that like tops that. Going into the studio is amazing, but also like being a part of a group of individuals who are like contributing to a thing that's like past what anyone can like fathom on a day-to-day basis. You go in with this idea and it morphs into this whole other thing that you could never imagine. That's like the beauty of playing music and being in a band and watching the evolution of things. It's really cool.
And for me, it sort of comes down to being a part of the scene that actually cares about each other and actually listens and appreciates what each other done. I mean, it's not everybody, but like there's a mutual appreciation society out there, and it's I love what you guys do. I mean, gosh, you're like Lewis doesn't shut up about you guys.
We were so honored, man. Lewis had us come over and play his birthday party at the Berkeley Cafe.
Yeah, he
Oh,
turned
That was
40.
awesome.
We had to get Texoma
That was super
involved.
cool. We don't want to. We do want to talk about the outboards too. Like this band is they're rippers and they're so good.
Oh, yeah.
So check them out. Like go to the outboards website or whatever.
right, or even check out their guitarist, Eric Hagen.
Yeah, Eric
Haugen.
Haugen.
He's got like
super
a YouTube channel where he does like guitar how-to videos about all kinds of
Oh,
stuff. He's got like 50,000 subscribers.
wow.
It's gonna be
He's
it's gonna be a
YouTube
great
famous.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. So,
Ooh.
what do you guys want to do? What do you want
Yeah.
us to do, Marion?
Well, y'all got your guitars out. We got like 15 minutes, so
Okay,
I say
you want us to play a live
go
one?
for it. Yeah.
This is more of a. See, this song is like definitely a rocker on the album that's coming out. We'll play it a little slightly toned down for this, but not too much toned down. And this was writing songs is so much fun because like this spurred out of nowhere. We wrote it in like 10 minutes, but it's not
Wow.
that fast.
Record
we
time.
wrote it in like a day or so. But it's from a memory that was like in 1999 or 2000 or something that had always stuck with me, but was never appropriate to write about until I was with this group of guys. It was awesome. So
Interesting.
anyway,
It's
called New Mexico.
All right.
years ago. Well, he was in a heart, he was on his own. He was looking for a place to go. So he pulled over to the side of the road. The Rio Grande was 1,000 feet below. Ba ba ba. And all my life I'll be looking for a place to go. I crossed that bridge in New Mexico, looking for some drugs. I was looking for some drugs to go. 1,000 minds in a single heart, sitting in the hot sun, not a damn thing to show. Just a desert town on the side of the road. She was the best thing he'd ever known. Ba ba ba. And all my life I'll be looking for a place to go. And all my life across that bridge in New Mexico, looking for some drugs. I was looking for some drugs to go. I found my heart in New Mexico. That everybody needs some kind of place to go. Ba ba ba. To go.
Awesome. Didn't expect y'all to bring your guitar today, but I'm glad you did. So what was that memory? Now I'm curious. Did you go to New Mexico?
Yeah, I did. So I went out. I went out for a trip, and I loved it so much that when I came back from the trip, I packed up my car and I just drove out there and found a job for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And just kind of lived out in New Mexico, kind of like 30 minutes, 45 minutes northeast of Taos, kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I saw
rock, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some dust rock.
And I was set out to find the Rio Grande Gorge and the huge bridge from the famous movie Natural Born Killers. And I found it, and I was sitting on the side of the road. And there's just like this picture of me. I forget who took it. It was probably one of my coworkers, of me just like sitting next to my old busted car, in the dust, like with a guitar, like on the side of a highway. And I guess I like at that time decided that I should just pick up my guitar and play it on the side of the road. And I don't know, that picture was laying around, and when we came up with the riff for that song, that picture came into mind, and then I kind of wrote that story that's not 100% true, right? But it was inspired by that picture. So
I feel like that needs to be like in the album pamphlet now, that picture.
Yeah.
How about we put it on our Instagram page?
Yeah.
So follow us
Now that
at
we're talking about it.
Texoma
I
Band,
need to see
and we'll
it.
put it up there on our Instagram.
Do you have it on your phone, like handy?
I don't know.
You
The
have to
thing
do
about
it now.
technology, man, I swear.
Yeah.
You know, they've like compressed all the pictures now, so I have like 10,000 pictures on my phone, so I don't think I'll ever be able to find it.
I always have to upload photos.
So
Did you guys go on any vision quests of your own, or?
Several.
Also, why only 3 months? Did something
I
drag
think
you
I had
out
to
of
get back
there?
for college.
Oh,
I think. I don't know.
that's a thing
I think
for
that's
sure.
what it was. That was a huge transitional part of my life where I had graduated high school and had signed up for community college and just was kind of having fun, floating around, doing this and doing that.
Wow.
And to speak to my community college days, I got in 1 year, I only was able to transfer like 10 credit hours out of 30. But then I went to real college, I don't want to say that it's real college, but for me, I stepped it up and things clicked.
Did you grow up in North Carolina?
I did, yeah.
All
And,
of you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Zebulon.
Nice. That's not too far away.
Where are you from?
I'm from West Virginia.
Oh, that's not North Carolina.
I actually grew up in Raleigh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been here you're in Carborough.
I
now.
live in southern Durham County now, but,
Okay.
all very close to Raleigh the whole time. And luckily, my parents are still totally awesome. And so I spend a lot of time with them. They're in Raleigh, so I'm only about 20 minutes away. That's nice. And now, actually, this gives me a chance to shout out to my youngin', Willie.
Woo! Cutest guy ever.
The three of us who are here representing Texoma all have young kids right now, and I only found out about coming on the radio this morning, so I quickly called Willie's grandmother and dropped him off there and made it just in time to play some music.
Are all your kids gonna come up to the show Saturday?
Not for this one.
Yeah, a little too late for
Yeah.
them.
Oh, yeah.
But
Past bedtime.
actually, if I had not found or had not gotten in touch with Grandma, he would have been here on his second radio appearance.
Oh. Was the first one here too?
And this first one was on WHUP, if I'm allowed to say that. That's an independent radio station.
Where are they based out of?
Hillsboro, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Hillsboro's got some cool music stuff going on
Really
too.
interesting.
Pretty
Surprisingly.
good barbecue up
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
The mac and cheese.
yeah.
And the banana pudding.
Oh man.
Banana pudding.
Where do you get banana pudding in Hillsboro?
That's
Sweet.
quoting from Southern Culture
Yeah,
on the Skids.
Who actually have a
Of
show
Oh,
on Saturday.
look at me.
Oh, too
Against
bad.
us.
Oh, where? In at the Cradle?
No, I think they're at Motorco, but don't go there.
Yeah, right.
It's like a 20-minute drive
Yeah, it's
difference.
too far away.
We had like 40 years to see them. Come see us.
Well, we've got like 4 minutes left. We're running short on time, so
Let's play a song off the album. Of
And
the
thank
upcoming
you for
album.
having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for having
Because
us.
we should all have conversations about everything going on in our lives.
Right. And if you want to be part of the conversation, we'd love to see you out at the station on Saturday night.
Yep. We'll have merch. I think we have 3 shirts in weird sizes left, so come look at
Wow.
them. If you're a weird sized person, we might just have something to cover that up.
Hey, and thanks for having us. We really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone out there that's listening.
no problem. This has been Local Lunch.
We should have some conversations. We should make it alright. For it all goes southbound in the middle of the night. Crank up the AM album and hold my hand so tight. After all, we have tomorrow, so we should make